Ethics is often used as a fun thought experiment, but when things get really interesting is when we can use moral psychology to understand and explain real-life situations. And I'm feeling kind of go big or go home today, so I'm diving right into the deep end, talking about COVID and abortion, both of which you will never think of the same way by the end of this video. If you've ever taken an intro to philosophy course, or read some stuff on the internet, or even watched some of my other videos, you're probably familiar with some ethical frameworks. Even if you don't know their names, they're things that are probably familiar to you, like utilitarianism, which is focused on doing the most good for the most people, or the justice-fairness approach, which is focused on justice and fairness. And those are wonderful decision-making frameworks, but I've always found them a little bit lacking when it comes to understanding people, because they explain the way that we should make decisions, not the way that we actually do. One of my favorite methods for looking at differences and understanding why we actually make the decisions that we do is Richard Shweder's 3 ethics, which are the ethic of autonomy, the ethic of community, and the ethic of divinity. The ethic of autonomy is rooted in freedom, and not surprisingly is very strong in the United States and many other Western countries. We tend to lean towards the philosophy that as long as you aren't harming someone else or infringing on their rights, then what you're doing probably isn't wrong. It may be weird, but it isn't wrong. If I said something like, every night I take off my shoes but not my socks, and stand in my toilet, stick a plunger to my head and yodel for exactly 7 minutes, you would probably defend my right to do that, even if me doing that would make you somewhat uncomfortable. The ethic of community sees us less as just individuals and more as part of a greater whole, with moral responsibilities to protect and support that greater collective, whether it be a family, a town, a club, or a country. Patriotism is a manifestation of this ethic. Similarly, the whole idea of shopping local is born almost entirely out of the ethic of community. You should support your local businesses and your town because it's your town, and we're all in this together. When people go against the ethic of community, we often struggle to put into words what exactly it is that they're doing wrong, but it's often best described as some form of disrespect, which is going to be important here in a minute. Now, the ethic of divinity is not necessarily inherently related to God, but rather some vague sense that human beings are important or special in some way. For example, the idea that the body is a temple and needs to be treated with care and respect is found across many different cultures in different parts of the world. There's this idea that there are some things that are just feral and debasing, and that we should be better than that. A feeling of disgust, or just general wrongness, is strongly associated with behaviors that deviate from the ethic of divinity.
You disgust me!
It doesn't take much searching to see how these 3 ethics shape the conversation around topics like abortion. Pro-choice advocates are holding strongly to the ethic of autonomy. My body, my choice screams autonomy. Sometimes literally.
My body, my choice!
Meanwhile, pro-life advocates are holding to the importance of family, the ethic of community, and that life is sacred, the ethic of divinity. On one side, to end an innocent human life is disgusting, selfish, and disrespectful, while on the other, to restrict someone's autonomy is oppressive and totalitarian. It probably also isn't surprising that the ethic of autonomy is more valued in Western democratic countries, and the ethic of community is more valued in countries like China and India. Also not surprising, the ethic of divinity is stronger in religious communities. No duh! And at least in the United States, it is generally associated with more conservative political views, which is what makes the pandemic so interesting, because suddenly things were exactly the same as abortion, except flipped. Those who were advocating against lockdowns, masks, and restrictions argued that they should be able to take informed risks with their personal health, motivated by the ethic of autonomy. On the other side was the idea that personal decisions affected the health of the collective, and that it was rude and disrespectful to potentially hurt others by doing what you wanted, which is the ethic of community. There was even the common argument that became a little bit tropey on the internet, but very real in the lives of those who felt it, this idea that what if it was your grandma that was killed by the virus? Then would it be a big deal? Which plays on both family, which is community, and the sanctity of life, regardless of how old or infirm that life may be, which is again the ethic of divinity. But generally speaking, it was now the political right arguing for the ethic of autonomy, and the political left that was arguing for the ethics of community and divinity. And it happened almost in tandem with Roe v. Wade being overturned and abortion becoming a huge topic of conversation in the United States. And there is validity to all three of these ethics. One or two will likely appeal more strongly to you based on your personal beliefs and where and how you were raised, but what these examples show is that we can fairly easily be swayed by one or the other, sometimes based just on the whims of tribalism, because all three are naturally compelling. They speak to us neurologically. I'm going to be talking about these three ethics a lot in future videos because they really help explain the miscommunications when both sides of an issue think the other side is bad, when in reality they're just following one of the other ethics. So next time you disagree with someone, especially if you're feeling strong feelings like those of disgust or disrespect, take a moment and see if you can identify which ethic each of you are following. And their actions may make a little bit more sense. You should follow the ethic of community and help build this community by subscribing to the channel and leaving your thoughts in the comments. See how I tied that in? It was relevant. Now get out there and make the world a better place.